casamento é só teoria. Tua família já me olha como uma mentira. Supostamente não era pra ficar comigo. Não temos casa pra morar, mas insistem em casar. Como será depois? Como será depois? Saiba que eu te amo, amor. Tudo que eu mais quero é te dar o meu coração, receber tua paixão. Deixa de pensar besteira, estamos juntos na trincheira. Mas eu não sei como buscar as condições. Temos renda pra pagar, a creche pra pagar, a lua para olhar e pensar no amanhã. E com essa realidade que o país está a passar, as mechas já não andam, os dinheiros fugiram, mamã. Eu só peço paciência, mulher, tudo vai melhorar. Só te peço paciência.
Hello and good evening. Welcome everybody to Let's Talk Kizomba. We've gone live now. My name's Andrea. I run Nzinga Nights in Camberwell. And we're going to have a talk tonight, collaboration. What does that mean to you? Does collaboration work? Please give us your comments. So I'm now going to bring in Gario to introduce himself. Hello, Gario. Good evening.
Good evening. And to our listeners and viewers, a big evening to you. Welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. This is the Kizomba community talk show coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. This is a show for dancers, teachers, DJs, promoters and organisers to share, discuss, debate and of course talk about current topics. Our show aims to raise awareness amongst the dance community of all the hot topics on the dance floor. No topic is too taboo. We will talk about all subjects with no exception. You're all encouraged to submit your questions and your opinions and your concerns, and we will discuss on the show, and of course at a later date bring your concerns to organisers, promoters, DJs and the like. It's more than a conversation, guys. This is your show, your dance, your opinion. Now, before we get cracking, we just want to let you know we're happy for you to comment, but please try to be mindful of other listeners and viewers, mindful of the host, the presenter and the panel, and please, of course, of all the events organisers, teachers, promoters, DJs. We don't mind you mentioning names, but please be in a positive light. If you want to contact us privately, we can discuss privately, but please try to be mindful whilst on radio, whilst live on a stream, that you keep it relatively clean with regards to accusations and the like. So again, we have another great pile of guests on the show, and I will be introducing you one by one. So first, I'd like to introduce you to Super Dixon, who is our co-host for tonight's show. Super Dixon, welcome, my man. How are you?
Boa noite, good evening, everyone. Super Dixon back one more time for another Let's Talk Kizomba. I am, again, let's go. I am a Kizomba Palop educator type of thing. I am a DJ, MC. I am an entertainer. I am a dance teacher, promoter, dance events organizer. I'm a radio presenter. Oh my God. I was born in Mozambique, grew up in Portugal. I am what you call a Palop. Which is an African that basically lives in Portugal. And I'm happy to give my contribute to the show regarding everything Kizomba from a Palop perspective. And I hope that today we can share more about this in another crazy show at Let's Talk Kizomba. If it helps, I have 14 years of experience in dancing, teaching, obviously, but maybe a lifetime of culture living. So I'm happy to share my experiences with you all.
Thank you, Super Dixon. It's a lovely intro. If you don't know, Super Dixon's a character, vibes and energy. And if you meet him on the dance floor, please ask him to dance and make sure he says yes. Don't let him get away. Don't let him get away. Right. Our next guest, a special guest, and we could say a regular guest, is someone that has been around the scene for a long time. She has direct access to the palette world, and she's very well thought of on the scene. I won't say too much. I'll let her introduce herself. For those of you that don't know, welcome Rashida. Rashida Forbes, welcome to the stage. Introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers.
Well, I don't know how to follow that, Gary and Super Dixon. Like, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I'm Rashida. Been dancing for a really long time. If you ask my mom, been dancing since the womb, since I gave it a lot of trouble from the belly. Yeah, I've been dancing Kizomba for well over a decade. My maths is crap, so I don't know. I can't do all the calculations, but a really long time. I'm affectionately known as an adopted palop, so I have some insights from both being from an English European kind of perspective in the dance world, especially in Kizomba, but as well kind of marrying that perspective with the palop community, who I know very well and love and have a lot of affection for. And yeah, I'm ready. Good to go. Good to go. Let's talk collaborations. Interesting subject.
Thank you, Rashida. And as you can see, guys, we have someone that is well known, is confident, has many roles within the scene, and has direct access, of course, to the palette world. So, Super Dixon, be on your guard, my man. She knows a bit about the palette world. So, our next special guest, new to the show, and may I say this is a wonderful guest. I have deep affection for her. She's very energetic. She's very passionate, very committed in everything she does. And she is bringing Berkshire, Oxfordshire, Buckinghamshire together and is an expert on collabs, I believe. We welcome to the stage Garagana, also known as Jerry. Jerry, welcome.
Hey, thank you for the introduction. Amazing. So happy to be here actually, and looking at Dixon and Rashida and Andrea and UG. Absolutely pleasure. Quickly introduction. I've been dancing all my life since 4 years old. Kizomba from 2005, teaching Kizomba from 2011. I've had experience to touch old-fashioned Kizomba, started with Kwandelima before, to nowadays the actual traditional cultural Kizomba. So I've seen both of the worlds, with the Tarushian influence before, and now the proper Palop Kizomba as we know it. I love dancing in general. I love collaborating. I love giving respect to people around. I'm also salsa teacher, Kizomba teacher, bachata teacher, cha-cha, and all sorts. So just a multi-talented lady. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks, Rashida.
Guys, as you can see, we've got a wealth of talent and, more importantly, a wealth of experience on the show tonight. So please, please, please get your comments in. Please give us your concerns, your opinions. We will be able to answer tonight with great confidence. As you heard, Jerry's been dancing Kizomba from, pretty much the early years, as she said. So we're going to have to dig deep into that and how it affects collabs. So again, I would like you to send us your opinions on the show and we will read them out. And again, be mindful of your comments. We're very happy to listen to your comments, but please keep it clean. Now, first question, and I always like to go down this route, is what is event collab? So I will put it to our hosts. What is event collab? So essentially, we want to keep it basic. We want to keep it streamlined. It's just something we want to ask. If any of our listeners have any doubt, any of the viewers have any doubt, event collab, we're just going to ask our panel hosts what their interpretation of it is. So Andrea, we'll go to you first. What is event collab?
So it's a very interesting question, Gary. So for different people, it means different things. Is it teachers collaborating together? Is it a community collaborating together? Is it collaborating to put on a bigger event? Is it collaborating to bring more knowledge to an event? There's so many different strings to the word collaboration. It just really depends on where you're coming from. Obviously, I work with DJs, I collaborate with the DJs. If I work with different promoters, I collaborate with them. If I'm organising an event, I collaborate with the venue. So depends what you want to get out of the collaboration, depends on what it means to you, really. If you want to put on a bigger event, save money, spread the cost a little bit further so that one person is not shouldering the whole financial burden, then there's that aspect of it. So collaboration can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. And to me, collaborating is working with other people to achieve the same aim, to have the same mission statement, if you want to call it that, to both have the same vision of what is. No point working collaborating with somebody if you've got different views. If somebody's only interested in making money and somebody's only interested in putting on a good night, it's not going to work. Somebody is going to end up losing out. So it's those sorts of things I want to explore tonight. Does collaboration benefit the dance community? Because it doesn't always benefit the dance community. And I mean, I've been in this industry for quite a long time now, and I've seen people come and go. I mean, the biggest one that I can think of that collaborates is El Grande. He collaborates, Phil Frost, bless him. He collaborates with a lot of people and runs a successful event. But then you go out into because collaboration is not just in London. We have the whole of the UK, Europe. I know Rashida's danced abroad. I know Dixon has danced abroad. So that's the collaboration as well. Somebody from somewhere else bringing people across to collaborate and get different dancers to their events. Do they collaborate with people? Sort of does Back to Basics collaborate with dancers in the UK to get them to want to come to their event? How do they entice people to come to their event? So collaboration is a huge thing. So it's not just two people rocking up at a venue saying, all right, let's do this. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort goes into it. So I've got more to say on that later on.
Well, Andrea, that was very brief. Thank you very much. Quite brief that was. Very informative. And it's a good start. And I think if we had any doubt if this subject could last the show, I think that's been erased right there. So thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome.
With our co-host, Super Dixon. Again, if we could keep it brief, young man, what would you say is event collaboration? And you've done it in Plymouth.
I was gonna say Andrea already kind of said it, but I was just going to say it. Well, in the actual form of the word collaboration is when two firms or two dance companies get together to create an event. This can be obviously two different entities. It can be just a teacher and a DJ, or it can be two teachers. I don't know. It's just when two people gather to create, in our case, an event. That's my short version of it. I hope it was good.
Thank you very much. That was perfect and wonderfully put in a lovely, lovely, gentlemanly British accent. Thank you very much, sir. Jerry, as our special guest, as I would call an event collab expert by now, would you like to just give us a brief summary of, with your great experience in, as Andrea mentioned, collaborating with actually just a DJ, just a teacher, just a dancer? I think you've spanned the whole of that description. In simple terms for our listeners and viewers, how would you put event collabing?
I personally am very passionate about collaboration. All comes from my love and respect to all the other artists. I'm on the same boat with them, and it's very important. They deserve the respect. That's number one. Collaboration I find everywhere. I'm extremely positive, so I do bring that wherever I go, to any host, organizers, dancers, DJs, other teachers, etc. So collaboration doesn't have to be business related. I have actually made some notes for myself because I normally talk a lot, but to make it shorter.
Everyone does.
Yeah. So for myself personally, I have experience in different collaborations, male, female groups, with DJs, with hosts, with organizers abroad, UK, nationally, locally, which is a different type of collaboration, doesn't have any finance involvement, doesn't have any events as such together involvement, but we collaborate to bring the area up. That's a different type of collaboration. You can collaborate with someone you don't like. That's another thing, which is out of normal standard collaboration. But you have as Andrea said, you have a vision together. Collaboration also for me is not only to have actually a vision together or something you want to achieve. You might work in a completely different way, but you want to achieve something in the end. Is it going to be for the dancers, or is it going to be just to bring more community for the Kizomba, or to bring more people, or something related to whatever your task is? So two different clubs with two different visions can collaborate as well. You don't have to think the same. You don't have to do business the same. You don't have to have the same customers, and etc. So yeah.
That was wonderful, Jerry, and I know you have very big experience in that field and you're very passionate. So again, tonight we'll be using you a lot, and it's quite interesting, even though it's a simple description I'm asking for. We're already opening cans of worms and digging a bit deeper. Rashida, yourself, I won't mention the question again. Off you go.
Yeah, I don't have much to add because so we've got a really, really experienced panel here already. I guess the only nuance that I might have, just so that I don't repeat what my colleagues have already said, I guess it's a collaboration, a bit building on what Jerry was saying, but I guess event collaboration could be a melding of different genres as well. So I mean, historically, a few years ago, I was part of a trio that did Love to Dance, which kind of blended secular the secular experience with the Palop experience, and I think that was a collaboration that was relatively successful. A lot of hard work, as you know, Jerry alluded to, that you couldn't achieve half of that without putting your heart and soul into it. But so maybe that's another kind of facet to explore, which I think, you know, the SPK do already, but you know, having something that's completely opposite. And so I think the reason why I wanted to collaborate with that, because I didn't want to lose my love for dancehall, hip hop, soca, or you know, all of that kind of all of that music that I grew up with newish found love for Kizomba, Samba, and other Polop music. And I thought that there were enough like-minded people to enjoy a night like that. So yeah, that's the only kind of difference, because I didn't want to repeat anything that my colleagues have already said, but I agree with them wholeheartedly as well.
Okay, so guys, that's a very good start. I'd just like to quickly brief over that. So we're looking at different types of collab with different types of, let's say, people. So you might have people that play roles. So you can have an event collab with a DJ, a teacher, an organizer, another organizer, just a general person off the street who might not be involved in the scene, but might have that kind of business head. Or look, we have people that just want to make money. Two heads come together, they see a profitable potential in, let's say, an event, or a Kizomba event, a salsa event, whatever, and a dance event. We're a dance stream, so you know, they see a benefit in that, and they might just want to make some money because they have a good crowd. And you know, it's all about who, where, and when, and everything. So that's really, really good in depth, although I asked for a brief description. That is very good from our panel. And again, I have already seen the messages coming in. Please, guys, please send your messages, concerns, and opinions, and we'll tuck straight in. I'd just like to say good evening to whoever has joined the chat: Georgia, Julia, Sam, and Dorothy. I'm going to quickly go in just before we start tucking into these comments. Georgia said, definitely people need to speak to each other. Too many nights on the same nights. Dancers spread way too thin. The nights have changed from when I started only just 2 years ago. And if Andrea could quickly bring up, thank you, Andrea, Samantina. Sam, yep, she's saying that Georgia, one of the biggest issues in the last 2 or 3 years seems to limit organizers of venues, availability and costs. And that, Sam, is 100% correct. And what we want to cross later on tonight, availability of venues and costs, very important with regards to collab. Okay, so guys, please keep your comments coming in, and we're going to tuck straight in now. And I think we'll go to our host Andrea with this. Andrea, I've got a question for you, Andrea. Can you tell me what do you need to do for an event collab? Let's say, how can I put it? What should be considered before going into an event collab with whoever it may be, a dancer, a promoter, someone, a businessman on the street that wants to get into collabing? What should you consider? What should we kind of advise and guide our listeners and viewers on with regards to collabing, and what you should consider before getting into it?
Before I was never going to particularly start an event, and then I was asked by someone off the, let's just say in the background, if I'd start an event. So I was tasked to, I mean, before that, even then, because I obviously don't live in London, I live near Portsmouth. I was asked to start a salsa night, which I was like quite happy to do. I had to find teachers that I liked, teachers that I trusted. I went to Uncle Phil from El Grande to ask his advice because he's been in the business longer than most of us, and I trust him with my soul. And he steered me in the right direction to who were good teachers, who might teachers that might cause an issue, people who taught. I teach Cuban salsa. I'm not interested in crossbody. Leave that to people who like to do that type of thing. I teach Cuban salsa, near to my roots. So I needed to have teachers that would teach the same way as me. I couldn't work with somebody I don't like, somebody I don't trust. I found a really great teacher, and we worked together for years until the pandemic, unfortunately, put paid to that. That was a very successful event that I was doing in Bognor. I now run it on my own because there is no one to collaborate with outside of London. People aren't going to come out of London down to the south coast to teach Cuban salsa. So that's fine. I do my own thing there. When I decided to start Nzinga Nights, I knew who I wanted to work with, and I knew exactly who I did not want to work with, who I do not trust, because I've seen them firsthand. I've seen how they work. I've seen how they treat people. I would not go with those people. I go with people I trust and who have the same vision as I do, and will back me and will not badmouth me in front of other people, no matter what we disagree on in private. Together we're a united front. And I have to say, the guys I work with, Evandro and Wilka Mix, and my door staff as well, are amazing. And they have my back, and they showed that on Friday by throwing me like a really huge birthday party. So that was amazing. That was really good fun. Really enjoyed it. They put their heart and soul into making that a good event on Friday. Those are the people I trust, the people who speak well of me when I'm not in the room. If you're not going to speak well of me when I'm not in the room, I don't need you. So for me, that's what I look for. Who do I trust? Who has the same vision of me? My ancestry is Angolan, way back before the slave trade, and so that's the music that I love. So I picked Angolan DJs. There's no point me picking someone who doesn't play the music that I don't like. I'm not going to have arguments with people every night. Say, no, that's not my music choice. My music choice is very important to me. It is Angolan, and it is when I went to Angola, it was the music that I heard being played in venues. It was the music that I heard in the backyards. It was the music that I heard in the dance classes. I want to bring Angola to England. A lot of events that I go to are not, they'll say that they're a Palop experience or that they're going to play Kizomba, and I'm thinking, oh, no. But that's their choice. If that's what they want to play, that's their choice. That's why I run my event, because I want to dance to the music that I heard in Angola, that is close to my soul, that reminds me that I'm an African. That's where I come from. That's my birthright. That's me. And the DJs that I employ all agree with me. They all understand that this is my music policy. If they don't want to play, then that's fine. There are plenty of other nights to go to. I'm very choosy who I collaborate with.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. That's brilliant, real in-depth kind of insight into Andrea's vision of what and how you should collab and what you should consider. And of course, she's saying that she wants to depend upon someone that has the same vision. So her DJs share the same vision. I know one of them quite well. He's a very nice guy and he's reliable, and reliability is one thing you look at and you should consider in, of course, event collab. I'll go to Super Dixon. Of course, you've worked on the South Coast. You've come from Portugal and you're thinking, or I would be thinking, hey, I'm from Portugal. I'm not English. How's this going to work? Do they have the same ideas and visions and, mission statements, as Andrew said earlier? Different country, different thought processes, different cultures. How did you find it, Super Dixon?
Well, let's start with the predicament. Yeah, I'm not Angolan, and I always have to explain that I'm not Angolan. I'm not. Not all of us comes from Angola, and Kizomba, although comes from Angola, in my perspective, Kizomba is not popular because of Angola, but we're not going to go there yet. Okay? I grew up in Portugal. I grew up with Angolans since I was 7. I know how they are. I know how they talk. I know how they vibe. And I know how they dance. And that's an amazing part of their culture. The advantage of growing up in a Palop community is that you get to see other African cultures, other dances, other musics, other experiences, other walks of life, which for me, as a Palop, made me feel more complete in a sense of I'm from a community that shares Africa, let's say. And the thing is, that gathering of all of us, for me, that's what is Kizomba to me. So when I came to the UK, it was like, especially in Plymouth, in the end of the world. I love Plymouth. It will always be my home. But when you get there and there's none, I always rejected to teach. I always wanted to be a DJ, but in Portugal, it's not that easy. But I always wanted to be involved somehow, somewhere with my culture. And I get to Plymouth, there's nothing. So the experience changes in the sense of, okay, what is happening here? There was actually an Angolan teacher already. Do you know what I mean? So I approached him to, what you're doing. Do you need help? That was my first approach, saying, do you need help? I have another guy who was like English Latino. He was British, but his mom was from Bolivia. He also approached me. Oh, let's do something together. And that's how my journey of events, collaborations started, with no money in sight. I just want to promote Kizomba. But bear in mind, for me, the word Kizomba, I was not using that word lightly, because I know what that word means. I know where the culture entails. So for me, I was just wanted to create or recreate the same vibe that I grew up in Portugal. So that's when I started to do my collaborations with, when there's no Kizomba inside, how I'm going to explain what is Kizomba, what I'm going to explain what is Passada. I just want a party. So I'm going to use this party to try to push the event. So immediately I knew that I needed to collaborate. I met Misael, which is my brother in arms since always, from my Cuban brother. And also when I met him, I already kind of I saw a bit of salsa. Bless Alexis, my Dominican salsa and bachata teacher. I love this bachata from day one. I still didn't understand the salsa. I didn't understand. I met Misael. I understood. Cuban. I'm with you, Andre, on that. It made more sense. But I knew that I had to collaborate in order to get my vibe across. Do you know what I mean? And hell, that was a hell of a journey because the British in Plymouth, which are way more, what is this? More than the usual. Let's say in London, people were already kind of feeling this vibe because the diaspora from the Collabs to the UK already started. So Kizomba is already in the processes of, and we're talking about 14 years ago, okay? It's been 14, it's going to be 14 years since I've been in the UK. So it was like diaspora of all of us in different cities trying to push what we call Kizomba. And for me, that was a challenge because I was willing to work for free. I was willing to find a spot, find a place where I can introduce our cultures. So I can't even say my culture, I said our cultures, and try to work with everybody. I can tell you that disappointment was what I was expecting because all of these people are already established, all of these people already making obviously money. But I just wanted to introduce my culture, our culture. Sorry, again, I just wanted to introduce our cultures. And that was really, really hard because at some point things are working and more people are getting into the Kizomba vibes. Everybody enjoys a bit of this. But I did sense that something is wrong here because everybody's making a lot of money. And I was thinking, well, I don't care about money, but nobody's acknowledging who's doing the hard work behind the scenes. So for me also, it became really strange because when we go to a Latin party, it's only salsa. No, it's not only salsa. But in this segment of what I came to is salsa the whole night or salsa bachata the whole night. And then with Kizomba, when I managed to introduce Kizomba, it was salsa, bachata, and Kizomba the whole night. So what happens as well is I'm going to these events and some people are trying to copy already, which is part of the business. And everybody is playing different music. And for me, I didn't like the vibe. I didn't like the vibe because I want to go to a party. Like a palop that I am, I just don't want to be dancing with someone the whole night. I want to be shaking my booty. So Afro is missing, Funana was missing, Kuduru was missing, all the happy vibes. And I want to get drunk, so I don't care. I want to party. And obviously, there was an event for all of that, but it didn't cater me. And in the end of the day, I realized that everybody was making money. So if everybody's making money, like Andrea said very well, I mean, okay, I see what you want. I see that you're selling your fish, and I help them sell their fish. But then I chose to work by myself. I chose to work by myself and focus in what I wanted. But I learned a lot from these collaborations I did. Make sense? So I worked a lot to create my own formula, to create my own event, where I can still focus on SBK, Salsa Bachata Kizomba, but I brought in what I consider the real Afro-Latin parties. So I add the reggaeton to my parties. I added Afro house, funana, dance hall sometimes, soca. I just, this is going to be a mayhem. You know what I mean? Because that's what I wanted. And I knew that although I pitched the idea to the other guys, I actually was willing to share this vibe with them, my idea. You know what I mean? The collaboration simply wasn't be possible because they had money to be made. So when I did my events, obviously there's a little element here when I said, and these parties are going to be for free, like they are for free in Portugal. And people said that's not possible. Because like Sumantini already said, there's venue costs, there's this cost, there's that cost, there's that cost. And I'm thinking in my mind, surely there's a possibility. surely there's always a way to do it. And the truth is, I found that way and I did it. And I did it by myself. I did it by myself, you know. But make no mistake that for me to do that event, it was because I worked with other people in the business. I learned how the collaboration worked. I learned how that process of, okay, we are doing an event together, but I am just an accolade. So when you're just an accolade, someone, if he's charging money, someone is making the money, and you're not making any money. And the hard lesson that I learned in the UK, people do not follow DJs, people don't follow the teachers, people follow the organizer and the venues. So no matter how good you made the party, me myself as an entertainer, there's no even a thank you, there's nothing. So for me, the story is a bit tricky, but I don't want to go further more into it. I think I already put my point across. Collaborations for me was a big slap in the face. So I chose to work by myself. Later on, we can talk how I changed that and how I'm doing it now. Now I'm doing proficient collaborations, but I think we can talk later so I don't take too much time for everybody. And apologies if I did for now.
Thank you, Super Dixon. Wonderful house coat you're wearing there, my man. Yeah. Jerry, over to you.
Yes, I was just going to interrupt in the end. Thank you, Gario. I have a completely different experience from Dixon. For different reasons, we have to be different anyways. But
sure.
I'm fortunate, of course, I'm fortunate to have worked with different people conducting business, and out of that, collaborating with them, which is not conducting business, just collaborating, showing love, making all the customers, which are the dancers, special, bringing something new to them, influence my events, influence the collaborator, their events, or whatever we decide we will collaborate with. Most fresh example, when I came to UK 2011, I didn't have any collaborations, but I started going to different events and pay respect to all the hardworking teachers and organizers. But not going and checking what they're doing or behaving inappropriately, completely opposite. Giving my all soul on the dance floor, entertaining their students, chatting with the host. So this is how I started. When I was very busy from 2011 with salsa, bachata, and other events, but when it came to my really big goal to achieve, to open my own Kizomba studio and Kizomba club last year, June, I really wanted to work and collaborate with all the clubs, Kizomba clubs in the area. I know that I'm very, very lucky to work in an area where is Kizomba soul, as well as Cuban salsa soul. So this is area where there are so many Kizomba dancers and people who love Kizomba, so many Cuban salsa dancers, and it's always been like that. So instead of being competition to the local clubs, which in this case is from Reading L2, Lauren, second Lauren, and Alice, I'm sure you know them, and Jess and Charlie in High Wycombe. So these two clubs are purely Kizomba clubs. They are very different, same as me. We don't have to be the same. So each one of our clubs, we know what is good about us and what is our downside, but it doesn't matter. We're all going to our events as a guest. We all go to support them. We promote their events purely with just pure heart. So this is just a fresh example of that. But I've always been positive, looking for collaborations in any sort of way. As I said from the beginning, I do believe constantly teachers, hosts, organizers, promoters, we need someone to boost us up. Our students cannot, because they're not in a situation to do so. So we ourselves as teachers, organizers, hosts, we need someone to boost our pleasure, our confidence, our hard work. Someone to say, you're doing really good, I love coming to your event. But a teacher to say to someone else. So I would love someone to tell me that. And I love saying this to wherever I go. So this is how I gain connections with other clubs. Also, what I like to do is knowing everybody. I don't have to be super famous in UK, and I'm not super famous in UK. So I don't have to be super famous to go and connect with someone. I can research them, see their online classes or what their value is, how they're promoting their club, what they're saying about their night. Are they grateful? Are they genuine? Are they open to invite new guests to do some new things? I visit them. We quickly chat, and then straight away through, let's say, dancing philosophy, as soon as you say to them, I mean, personally, me, as soon as I mention something about dancing philosophy, a few sentences, and I know I will connect to the person straight away. And then next time round, we can see each other and say, okay, let's do this. Or do you want to come to my event? Be my main guest. No financial plan or anything involved. You don't have to pay anything. I will support your event. So this is how we operate at the moment in the area. How did that benefited my club, L2 Club in Reading, and Kizomba Moments in High Wycombe? Is we influence our audience to say, look, guys, we are together with these clubs. We are collaborating. We respect each other. We love each other. Yeah. We promote our events. Go to their club. Tuesday is their night. Go to their club. Every last Sunday is their night. So this is how, let's say, 50% of my customers and the other two club customers are going together. They are building their own friendship, their own community, and going to these three clubs. So that brings up our area only purely based on this collaboration. That obviously benefits us, bring more customers or even regular customers. So yeah, just a positive example.
Rashida, you're on mute.
I think it froze the
I
screen.
think we might have lost Rashida. So
Yeah,
yes,
I just wanted to say to Gary. Um, by the way, you mentioned something because Rashida, when she's back, oh, she's back. Oh, she's back. Okay, cool, good, good. I just want to quickly say, you know, that I always agreed with that. I always agreed with what you just said. I always agreed to promote all the places, other events, other parties. I always did that. Do you know, man? But I got to a point in the business of the advertising when I noticed that the other guys that we did events together here and there, but when I noticed in their social media they never allowed my tags in. When I was allowing all their tags on my social media, when I noticed that they weren't allowing the tags, I was like, "Oh, we playing this game." I said, "A lot of people don't know. I actually got a master's in tourism and marketing." I said, "Two can play that game," but I'm glad that you guys have a united
That
group.
that's why I
Nah,
mentioned it's not about all clubs. I don't do
no,
that
no,
with
no,
the
no,
whole
no,
country.
no,
No,
no.
that's
I
why I
agree. I
mentioned
agree with
that
that.
you connect with the certain people. As soon as you see them, chat with them, you know that these are the people very genuine.
Yeah,
They care about you. You will care about them. Not everybody, definitely.
yeah, yeah. That's a great.
Rashida, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rashida, you
Rashida, go
ready?
ahead.
Right, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm sorry about that. You know, the wind is blowing. I think okay. I don't mean this any disrespectfully at all, but Jerry, the way that your experience is, and it may be because similar to what Super Dixon was saying, is that there's certain parts in the country that were a little bit more behind than London in terms of the saturation of cultures and the blending of cultures and appreciation of other cultures. I'm not sure, but it sounds so reminiscent of the Kizomba scene maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I could start reeling off some clubs I mean, I'm London based, so but have quite a narrow vision. So I can acknowledge that, and I'm happy to be told that I'm wrong. But 10, 15 years ago, there were a handful of clubs in London, and they cross promoted. What they also didn't do was do nights to clash with the other person. as you and all of that showing love when you were a teacher at these events, which I happen to be actually in all of these events, a guest teacher at all of these events. You would, okay, yeah, you still want to dance, okay, this is that on Tuesday. You still want to dance, that's happening on Saturday. Yeah. But then eventually, for I don't know, maybe just greed, I don't know, somebody would pop up and do something that would clash with this and threaten the relationship that they built over that time. And that's when kind of Super Dixon's kind of narrative rings true for me. But your narrative, Jerry, rang so true about 10-15 years ago in the Kizomba scene. And I'm really interested in whoever's got an opinion about why that fragmenting of that kind of collaboration, that creating together, that so we can eat together type thing, right? If I feed you and you feed me, we all eat, right? But then somewhere that got lost somewhere, and it's became about competition. And then similar to the ladies that have commented earlier on in the show, that's where you get the divide. And that's where you get people start choosing and making choices. You don't have to choose. You're a customer. You don't have to choose. You go where tickles your fancy. But all of this kind of, and then where I think it's about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, Kizomba politics became a thing. And I might just stop there because we got to go to a break. But yeah, Kizomba politics is real. And yeah, that's all.
I would like to say you still have 3
Oh,
more
Dixon,
minutes.
hold on.
Before you take over.
You want me to keep going? You want to keep going? No.
Right.
I want more problems.
We're not ready to pro blows yet, Super D. We're not ready to pro blows yet. I'm just, easing into it, the same as you.
Guys. It's good. It's good. And Dixon wants us to get political, and we're going to get political because I'm going to start talking. I'm going to open my mouth. But before we quickly do that, just a couple of comments. Clarissa, good evening to you. Georgia saying, for me, I follow the DJs and the teachers. That's in response to one of our guests saying, I think it was actually Dixon saying that, people follow the organizers as opposed to the DJs and teachers. There's an opposition answer to that from Georgia. We got Carlita, boa noite, Carlita, and we got Georgia again. Really not liking the knock-on effect of clashing nights. We've got Bobby Blanco, aka Mr. Robert White. Sorry, guys, I'm on the road. Got the invite quite late to make alternative arrangements. We'll try to catch up on the discussion later. And I contacted Bobby Blanco, Robert White, because I know he has very recently or currently got a collab with another organizer, I believe, Biscuit, and it's kind of a cross kind of genre, cross dance type event. So if he comes back later, we'll get onto that. But we will get political. We're off to a song break in just a moment. But I want to touch on what Rashida said. Guys, if you were around 7, 8, 9 years ago, please jump into the comments because we're going to open it up a little bit. What Rashida was talking about, obviously, up to, I believe, 2016, around that time, the events were kind of friendly. We had, of course, we had Chocolate Tuesdays and we had SIBOs, and they kind of twinned where, the organizer of Chocolate would say, yeah, what are you doing Sunday? Go down to SIBOs, and then SIBOs organizers would say, what are you doing on Tuesday, midweek? There's Chocolate down the road there. So that worked well. They twinned and it was working well. Something I used to do, Rashida, I'll touch on it now. Coming up the ranks, I would always recommend Nomad. Now, we can mention Nomad. Of course, Andrea and Rashida were regulars, and it was known as Kizomba Heaven. These guys frequently, well, they didn't frequently, they were there every week. And despite some kind of politics, we won't really get into that right now, but we always recommended, even as the youngers, as they call it, we recommended Nomad if you wanted to learn Kizomba. Okay,
So I was
the
also
days of
a teacher there,
Takosta.
Gary. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I didn't only frequent there. I was a teacher there as well.
Yeah, as we know, um, Rashida, Takosta, you know, these guys were really trying to do the right thing. We all know the stories. I was in a particular lesson with Tacosta it was 11 years ago when he didn't let us carry on until every single person in the class could carry out that. I think it was a box step. And if you couldn't do it, he'd say, we're not moving. And I always recommended, because I always thought this is good grounding. When you leave here, you're going to be able to dance the right way. So we recommended it. So Chocolate and Sibo's twinned. You had other events that, you know, we had back in the day, of course, Visu, and, you know, there didn't seem to be the clashes. I mean, I think the organisers done a good job in those days to keep everyone happy. I think the balance of the music was always great. Nomad was kind of an exception. It was a culture thing. You knew what you were getting, similar to what Andrew is doing now. If you come here, be under no illusions that this is what you're getting. So we had Nomad, what was slightly different, but the others, Seabuzz and Chocolate, I will say, I'm sorry, personally. I know Rashida can back me up. She was there for both. They were very balanced and very, very good. Okay. And, you know, there were a couple other events. Of course, Rashida herself was involved in a collab with, I think, Grace and Mitch, you know, Love to Dance. It was another great event down there in Holloway Road, if you guys remember. A successful collab, and Rashida, you can talk to us a bit later on how that worked. But again, people would say, what are you doing on a Friday? Go down to this place. So I think things turned a turn when urban became a thing. Now, without driving the politics, urban became a thing, and that the events started springing up. Then people started to take advantage. We had one of my friendly organizers adding additional nights to the week, saw an opportunity and decided to do Mondays, and he done Thursdays, and at one point he had 3 events. So all of a sudden, other organizers are popping up and saying, well, what's going on here? And things started to get a bit fraught. And on that note, we'll go to a song break, but I just wanted to add that and set the scene for what's coming next, because Rashid and Super Dixon are really going to open this up, and I will be joining in. Andrea, take us for a lovely song. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Kizomba and Collaborations. Sorry, I dropped my mouse earlier on and broke it. And StreamYard is not easy to use without a mouse. So we're going to be talking about collaboration. I know a lot of the comments have been about it means that there's a lot of events on a lot of nights. So let us just bring back Gario.
Thank you, Andrea. Guys, I would like to say, viewers and listeners, thank you for joining us. We're very appreciative of you for joining us. And what I'd like to say again, keep the comments coming. Tell your friends about the show. Tell them to get on for the last hour because things are about to go down. We've touched on some touchy subjects and we're already getting response. So I will also say, if we have any urban organizers, just throw in some comments on how you might have impacted the smooth twinning of events, and not so much collabing, but the twinning of events, because in my personal opinion, things started to change when urban became popular. So if you've got any urban organizers, just drop in the comments why you believe you didn't affect the scene. So anyway, going back to the point here, we touched on with Rashida, not so much collabing, but twinning with events, advising, go here, go there. Jerry, I know you work with El to Dance, Lauren, and Alice, three lovely ladies trying to do the right thing in Reading, trying to bring people in. And also, I believe you work with Jess and Charlie, who we know have been long-time dancers. Quickly, briefly, I know I asked you the question about what are the key components in building. Just very briefly, tell us, you do promote them and they promote you. Just tell me, how has that been delivered? Has it worked? Have you had the numbers? They're traveling, your people and their
Yes.
people.
Yeah. So numbers are growing because the community is growing. We don't have problems with beginners, which lots of clubs do have. We always have constant beginners. All of us three clubs as a technicality and teaching aspects. Some of us have a syllabus, some of us don't work with syllabus, just the open classes. But still, everybody do receive new Kizomba beginners, which is great. And this is obviously a seed for success, because if you don't have beginners, you might not succeed as much in 1 year or whatever. This is just silly statistics. Just quickly wanted to mention something back for Rashida. Even though I have my official Kizomba club from 1 year, stay rested, because I have a lot of experience in collaborations in general. And even if I have a young Kizomba club, it doesn't mean that I haven't seen drama or things going down in the clubs, That's for sure. But I have a different perspective. I do strongly believe that the dancing community in general can become the same as a gym business. In every town, you can have 2-3 brands of gyms. Is the same. This, I'm very passionate about it, and I'm very positive about it. I have a vision about it. That is absolutely possible. If each club have a strong vision and respect for others, it's absolutely possible we as a dance providers to become busy and popular, the same as the gyms. So people might not choose to go to the gym, but they will come for dancing 2-3 times a week. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense, and I
Yeah,
completely respect
it's
your
totally
position. And I didn't mean to minimize anything about what you were doing. It was just
no,
more.
no, no. Of course, of course.
It felt reminiscent of where we were a decade ago, listening to you speak. But yeah, that's by all means. I respect your expertise in your field.
And also, I don't collaborate locally only. I collaborate with one of the London clubs, Finchley and Watford as well. And I'm only growing. So I can expand as much as I would like. It's only because I'm given the amount of respect, and I mean, Dixon has seen me first time on the dance floor. I'm sure he can confirm that as well. That as soon as I saw him on the dance floor, even though he didn't know who I am, I did give him a little respect of who he is, greeting. It's just basics, really, etiquette on the dance floor, teacher to teacher or organizer to teacher, straight away. And he's amazing, amazing, amazing dancer. So first, I have to give him respect for that. And this is just a small, of course, this is just a small starts for to approach someone.
Thank you, Jerry.
If I may say, Gary, if I may say, I also knew who you were. We always knew. Who is in the game always knows, okay? We know everything. Not everything, but related, yeah. Even when I was in Plymouth, I could hear everything that was happening in the capital. So I just think that what you just spoke is which is a lot of important, which is network collaboration, which I didn't want to talk then because I was already kind of just given the where I come from to people to understand that when I come from Plymouth, we are imagine what Rashida was also talking about is what was happening maybe 10 years, 15 years. And for me, is exactly the same kind of experience, but I am not in a capital. I'm experience a totally different world, which is almost like 50 years behind London. That's the majestic. But I totally agree with what you said. And I also love to meet you, but I already knew who you were. Because again, when we work in this industry, it's important to know who is who. Do you know what I mean? For the sake of, but a lot of people don't know that we know them. But it's what you said about is a beautiful network collaboration, which I want to say to everybody. I always did that. I always used to attend everybody's events. You know what I mean? Until I stopped. But I guess let Gary start the war, and we will follow suit.
Maybe so definitely not a war. Guys, you need to really change your perception here. But maybe, Garo, we can open a different show where we can actually talk about how we can make people believe that collaborations are possible and genuine connections between clubs back like 15 years ago are possible. Maybe we can do a different show.
Maybe there'll be time.
This is the show. We're going to talk about all of it.
Maybe we're wasting our time to do another show. Why not do it now? Guys, sorry. Next question, Andrea. We need to bring Andrea in here. She's been waiting patiently. Andrea, in simple terms, does event collaboration work? I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be blatant. Does it work? In your eyes?
Some work. Some work for years. Some work really, really well. Others don't. I've seen them come and go. I've seen people collaborate with a well-known Saturday night event for them to be stuffed, basically, by the organizer. So, you know, you have to pick who you collaborate with. You have to pick very carefully why you want to collaborate with that person. Do they have the same vision as you? If they don't have the same vision as you, you are constant. Why be in a state of war or tussle or not good vibrations? Why be in that? Why just to make your name? Is it your ego? Do you not want to do you not want to fail? But failure is a way of moving forward because you know what doesn't work. Sometimes you have to say, right, do you know what, this isn't working? Your vision is too different to my vision. And you go your separate ways and you run it. So some work, some don't. It doesn't mean that either person is wrong. It just means that your vision wasn't the same and that you need to be grown up enough to say, do you know what? This isn't working. You have your set vision. You do your thing, and I wish you luck and God bless. Well, maybe not God bless, but and I'll go my way. The way that I have something maybe in the offing, and but I'm very careful who I collaborate with. It has to be a long-term collaboration. I'm not going to do 2-3 events with somebody and then they walk off and leave me high and dry. I've got to be sure you're in it for the long term, a bit like, you know, a relationship or a marriage. And you have to work at a collaboration. You can't just have two people rock up on said night and everything's going to be fine. You have to work all month, all week, every day, all the time. Both of you, like I say, the two DJs that I have, and even the girl who I'm blessed to have on the door, work hard all the way. No, you don't have to sign a contract, Dell.
Good evening, Dell.
Yeah, good evening, Dell. Sorry, but no. Why? Who do I sign a contract with? What would I need a contract for? The two guys, my two DJs that I work with, we are family. A family's fight, but we are grown up and mature enough to argue, to talk that out. Why are we arguing? What are we doing? What do you think I did wrong? What did you do wrong? And we come together and we talk about it. I'm not signing a contract. I don't want people to sign a contract because then you have to get solicitors involved and all sorts of things.
Andrea, something's coming. Andrea, something's coming. Carry on, but something's coming. I know someone who will disagree with that. I know someone who will disagree with it. It's about to go down. Carry on.
No, you know what I think. But yeah. Collaborations can work. And we see them year after year, events that run yearly, these yearly, you know, sort of festivals and things that are run abroad by certain people. Mind you, when if you look closely and you look at who's doing it and who's doing sort of like sorry, I was reading what Dale was putting there. It's not really relevant. But yeah, and they have different people running it every year. But most of these collaborations work well. But it's hard work. It's like any relationship. It's not just going to be plain sailing, and you have to take the rough with the smooth.
Andrea, it's a good answer. So, you know, we're saying, does it work? Of course it does, and of course it doesn't. And what we say is, this is part of the problem. Because of sometimes maybe collabs, people have different visions, as Andrea said. All of a sudden, you have 3, 4, 5 different nights popping up because everyone has their vision on and their opinion on what they think is right. And normally it's what's right for them. So this is where the problem starts. What's right for them is...
But why is it a problem to have all these nights, Gary-O? If you go down my high street, there are 10 shops selling food and groceries. They all do something slightly different. They're all in business.
That's Andrea, that's fine, but we all have to eat. We don't all have to do Kizomba. So it's a bit different, I believe. Not really. Kizomba's a very small... Well, it's...
Oh yeah, there is a limit. There's a limited dance community out there. Whatever dance genre you do, there is a limited
so I
dance
think
community.
I understand your example of, you know, someone mentioned earlier, you have 3 different types of gym on the high street. But my point is, obviously, the numbers game. Everyone has to eat. A lot of people have to work out, or they don't have to, but they do. But Kizomba is a very small drop in the ocean. So I guess Kizomba, you know, not everyone has to do it. It's a bit different. I appreciate the concept, but as I said, and a lot of people are complaining, why are there so many nights? Samantina, Georgia, and I think
take your choice. Go to the
event but it doesn't deliver, and I think
that you like to go to.
But I would say, Andrea, going back to what Rashida said, it was more successful before. I believe personally, from my experience, that it was more balanced. The nights were more balanced, catered for everyone, and everyone seemed to be more happy. They got a bit of what they wanted, and you know, it was perfectly balanced in my eyes, especially 2 of the events I mentioned. And also, of course, Love to Dance was great. Even Vicio itself was great. They were all great events. They were great people, great dancers. Everything was kind of all right. And because it was balanced. The moment, and I will throw it out there, the moment Urban started, not say started, became popular in London, all of a sudden there was a shift. So dancers of Kizomba started moving over, and then for me, and I've spoken to a number of people about this, there seemed to be a push to and an agenda to push forward Semba, to try and reclaim the home, try and reclaim the dancers. And Semba was kind of pushed as an agenda to claim everyone back. The Knights played a lot more Semba, and it was like, yep, okay, now we're going to go real hardcore and hopefully get these people back, and we're going to show what it's really like, what it's coming from, where it's coming from. And for me, that was the change. Therein lies the problem. People on those nights, and this is nothing against that particular type of music, it changed from a balance to a kind of a overbalance. And I believe that's where, for me, the problem started. Nothing against the urban organizers, may I add, but that's where the change was. All of a sudden, some of these events were top heavy and not as balanced as they were, and what was making them successful. Rashida, would you like to jump in on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, my maths is not great. So the timeline of all of that, you might be right that it coincided with the, I don't know, the emergence of urban. It might be that, you know, our crowd got older and moved away. I don't know. There could be a whole lot of reasons as why that happened. But all I can, what I can say that the twinning, as you use, as you call it, it made the dance community that there wasn't this bitterness and this sniping and this backbiting that we see nowadays in that dance community, in the dance community back in the days. And that may be due to urban. I don't know. I haven't done some analysis and piece of research to be talking from a place of authority. But what I know that in nowadays, collaboration, similar to what both Jerry and Andrew is saying, in the absence of a shared vision, whether that shared vision is money, whether that shared vision is culture, whether that shared vision is, I don't know, you know, to expand the business or whatever it is, collaborations fall flat. And I don't believe that. And also there's something like, once the party in that collaboration thinks that they can amplify a niche and then splits off, is where again the division comes, and then there's more backbiting, and the Kizomba politics is here. So some collaborations you may come with a clean heart at the beginning, but then you would see that, you know, or maybe, oh, I've got more of a following because of this XYZ. Maybe if I set up my own night, then you clash with somebody else down the road, and then it just, there's not enough, there's too much self-servingness in the community, in the dance community, and you're not serving the community, you're serving yourself. And that's where it's falling flat. Yes, the customers experience this divide, and they will go off and to some good nights in their own right. Like, yes, I'm associated with a couple of really you know, long-standing nights or what have you, but there are some other spin-off nights that are really good, right? Really, really good nights. But because they clash with the more, I don't know, like you say, following the venue or the promoter, you've got 5 people at that event, and then you've only got 10 people at the other event. So what the customers then experience is a lackluster party. Yes, you can have a really good party with 10 or 15 people. You know, I can make a party wherever I'm at, if I'm in the mood, you know. But the point is that when you split the market like that, nobody wins. Both promoters aren't coming home, are not making a profit, and the people that attended both parties didn't have the best time that is possible because the numbers were down. So I do think that there does need to be some increased communication, or not communication, humility. I think it's humility that is needed when you're either opening a night or whatever it is, and respect for those that have existing customer base. Like, why would you want to take away from something that paved the way for you to even consider opening a night? Why would you want to do that? To me, that is that's, I don't know. It really irks me, if I can use that word, because yes, Nomad was an outlier, and yes, in terms of, I don't know if you were alluding to that, Gario, in the sense of we went in on Semba or whatever it is, but I don't think we responded to the market. We were always that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's that the market then started narrating us that way, because of what was going on elsewhere. But we were always that way, and we were the outliers and what have you else in Kizomba. And yes, you know, we had the nights like Chocolate. They filled a purpose. I used to go to Chocolate. I met my future husband at Chocolate. And so that's just one example of, you know, why people used to go to Chocolate, and you know, different reason why people used to go to Nomad. Yeah, you know, they served purposes, but they knew the market, they knew what they were playing for, they knew who they were serving, and they didn't eat from each other. It's that kind of self-serving, you know, I want to make a profit, or I want to make a name, or I want to do all of that sort of stuff that stops you serving the community that spends their £10 every week.
Rashida, what I'll add to that, and I'm going to bring in Jerry and Dixon very shortly. It irks, it does, but again, I will say it. When we had the balanced nights, I honestly, genuinely believe everyone was just so happy to dance to a very balanced musical night that there wasn't the kind of desire, the kind of need to go and open another night.
I agree, Gary.
And I think
agree.
I think what people, and I'll just want to clarify, I wasn't alluding to Nomad with the kind of sea of change for Semba. It was just a generic thing where it was pushed as a response to urban, in my experience and a lot of other people's, what we saw. And then that's when you started seeing nights popping up, because people were thinking, hold on, we used to get a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, and now we're getting a lot of that and not a lot of that, or nothing at all. And you know, it boils down to people. You can call it their own vision. It's a bit selfish, actually. I will do my party, and I'm willing to take a loss. I don't care if there's 5 people in my event, but I'm going to do it because I want to do it, because I want my music. All right.
Yeah.
So that's their thinking. That's it, and they have every right, because maybe they don't like what they heard at another club. It's their right, and I'll never take it away from anyone. But I think this balance thing is what set everything off. Urban did as well. The change of agenda for to use Semba to try and claw back the community that was spread thinly. And you know, it's just, again, Nomad was great. You knew what you was getting. Nomad never changed. So I want to add
also,
that.
I mean, Easy made a really good point in the chat. But Nomad was operating at a loss for a really long time. Like, so as much as we're being all nostalgic about it, and I loved it, that's why I stuck it out. But we operated at a loss for a significant period of time before it closed down. So,
And
you know,
this
is where the kind of, if everybody's kind of, oh, we missed Nomad, we didn't appreciate it at the time that we had it. Again, I go back to the era of 10 years ago when it was popular, before that kind of coalescence of urban, or what, I don't know, that was the catalyst that kind of moved people away from that. Like, people were getting a need met in different environments, and that's what I allude to in Chocolate. It's a different need that you were meeting in Nomad, which didn't sell, I suppose, anymore.
Well, I genuinely believe, I think it was great because the balance was great. You had the one in the West End, you had the one in the East End, which was obviously SIBO's. You had the West End in Chocolate. You had the one for the more cultural, which was Nomad in a city. So you covered 3 East, West, and Central, kind of, you know. And we had one in the North, Holloway Road, you know, and all of these things, Equilibrio in the South and Vicio in the South. And, you know, it's just, you know, El Grande, if you want to add that. And it was just wonderfully balanced, you know. And of course, some of these were making a loss, Nomad, but the vibe was there and it was trying to do the right thing. And I mean, I want to go to Jerry next and Super Dixon, but I just want to quickly go onto these messages. Clarissa was saying, when clubs collaborate, would you share teaching techniques? Example, try to keep the levels of standard consistent. Yeah, it's just, these are the questions that you got asked, and that's why I asked our guest about this. How do you come together? How do you collaborate? Very important. Del is saying you must sign a contract, Andrea, and Andrea says no, but I would say there's going to be a. Sorry.
once you start to get into all that legal stuff, to me, I no.
Andrea, again, you work
Does he
with
mean
people
with
you
the
trust.
venue, or does he mean with the venue, or between the people who
No,
are
I think the people
collaborating?
you're working with. And look, we'll bring Jerry in now because we know Jerry does sign contracts of sorts with regards to even people she employs. Sorry, Jerry, if you don't mind me saying that. And just before we bring you there, Del has replied, "Yes, you do. See, wrong attitude. Have a look at the event in West London. 357 people on a Friday night." I don't know what he's alluding to there, but Jerry, please come in on this contract
I agree with
comment.
Izzy.
Gario, we didn't mention anything about business secrets before this conversation today.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay?
See?
So you, Chris,
So
okay. So
yeah, can you
yes, tell me.
advise?
I'm going to separate contracts and conducting business from collaborations. I don't sign contracts with collaborations. So if I have someone I will run business with, yes. If someone will work for me, yes. But collaborations, I think, need to be purely respect what the goal is, support each other, and what we can bring on both sides of the table, depending on what we want to achieve with this help, support, collaboration. No contracts.
And I think it's a good
business. The collaboration is not business. Collaboration is love, is
goodwill.
Absolutely. So no contracts.
So you, in your eyes, you don't believe it's a business deal, no?
Collaboration?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. In my eyes, collaboration is not a business. Cannot be a business.
Funny enough, Dell's just posted, dance should be treated as a business. Anyway, G, thank you very much on that. We just wanted to make that clear. So she has separated that. Collab is not business type to be signing contracts. Andrea herself says goodwill. I trust people. I'm working together with someone. And of course, I actually understand, because if you're bringing contracts into it, it's already like you have a doubt. You could be seen as you had a doubt. There's no trust. It's all of a sudden you're off on the wrong footing, even though it might be a sensible thing to do. Super Dixon, can I bring you in there quickly? Just on this point, would you, I don't want to get away from what we're talking about, just on this contract thing, would you, or have you done that?
Now, I don't mean to say this in any way. I mean, again, everybody knows this is love we're talking about, but you're talking to in this table. I think I'm the one professional artist in the game here. So I don't mean to say this in any crazy way, but I can guarantee you one thing: Dale is right. Dale is right. Not always I've seen Kizomba as a business, because I used to have a day job in a 9 to 5, as a health insurance advisor. You know what I mean? And I was just doing this as a hobby. As soon as I stepped into the business side of life, a contract, and again, there's several types of contracts here. Okay, there doesn't need to be a binding legal contract. There's several things that you can be done. I personally agree with the contracts, because whatever you're writing in your contract, imagine before I get hired to festivals, some festivals do present a contract, which I obviously read the whole contract, and I say if I agree, if I don't agree. That's simple. Do you know what I mean? If I agree, if I don't agree. If I don't agree, I don't sign the contract. Friends as always, goodbye. It's fine.
Yeah,
But
good.
the contract,
Good.
I think when you're going to do something big, I would advise to everybody, you want to do a festival? Yeah, don't put it on a contract. Don't put it on a contract. See what happens. See what happens. Because a lot of people want to, the thing is, let me just explain. A lot of people want to do a lot of things. Oh, let's do a collaboration. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
But everything that involves money, my friends, that's how people get to, that's why people get like, oh, I thought I could trust you. Oh, I thought I saw a Pootie cat too. You know what I mean? And this is the thing, is like, people want to get into the game, and they want to do this, and they want to, and everybody believes in flowers. Trust me, like Andrea, like Lady Gary, like Rashida. Listen, I've done the whole thing, the amicable, the non-amicable, and sometimes it's like I have a great heart. I have a great heart. I want to do things and I believe in. And then the slap happens, and you're just gonna go, "Oh my God, I wish I had a contract on this."
I think we have to separate things
And
really.
it's nothing. And this is the thing is,
Collaborations, supporting
this is the
others,
thing that I'm
and
trying to say.
making a
Everything
business.
that involves money, everything that involves money, and a lot of people as well. It's like this. Oh, there was this night. Now that's that night. Listen, it's a business. As much as you want to have lots of for the love of Kizomba, this is a business. Or even if you want to do it because I want to, like Andrea wants to do the parties the way she wants to do it. She wants to do focus in Kizomba. She wants to focus in Angola. Man, she does her thing. How she does it is none of my business. And this word, it's none of my business. It's exactly what it is. It's none of my business. If she doesn't want to do a contract, I don't have nothing to do with it. But if I want to do a contract, my friend, sign the contract. Like Tyson, Mike Tyson, hey, sign the contract. Sign the contract. He don't sign the contract, there's no. And this is again, it's a decision from each parts. What you guys were talking about earlier about there was this night. Now there's that nights. Work up. If your nights are not working because you're doing just a sect of culture, you know what I mean? If someone is doing it better or different, and the people are buying that, and they're not buying from you, you can cry as much as you want. It is what it is.
Guys,
I would just say,
and I just want to say
I have a
something.
mix.
I was trying to say something.
Hold on, because you called my night out there, and I just want to say that my night is not just Angolan music. There is a mix: Santa May, Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique. Everything is there, but the DJs are from Angola. My heritage is Angolan. That's you know, but you know, I've had this out with other people before.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
trying to explain. I'm just trying to explain from the imagetic of everybody spoke here. So I'm just picking up on what you said, and I'm just transporting to the actual business side of things. Okay, Andrea. I'm not again, like I said it from the beginning. No way, shape, or form. My way is right, or someone wants to do a contract is wrong. No, collaborations, whatever type of collaboration, network collaboration, DJ collaboration, I don't know, teachers collaboration, whatever, dance styles collaboration, whatever the type of collaboration. Do you know what I mean? I'd say from a business perspective, I don't disagree with a contract. And in fact, the binding contract saves you from dealing with it later. This is it. That's all. That's my point of view on it. Now, regarding what you guys were talking about I don't know if you want to continue about that, Gario, about what
I would say, yeah, I just wanted your view on that, Dixon, and I think we've kind of veered off because of Dell. We're going to come to some messages at the moment.
Yeah.
I just wanted.
But it's part of it's actually part of the subject.
Yeah. It's a natural deviation, and I think contracts. And I'll go back. I was kind of convinced by Andrew and G there. Actually, no contracts, but I think I think you should. I mean, Dixon, your contract from Andrew will be in your email later on how you act on the show and do the show and calling out other people's events and stuff. So expect that contract in your email.
I just have right of reply. That's all.
Right, guys. Really, it's been fantastic.
I hold the key to this event, this podcast. So
okay, so Auntie spoken. Right, we're going to look at some of these messages. Our valid fans, Carlita. My point of view, as I'm out a lot and I know a lot of promoters, I think there's a lot of selfish behavior when it comes to doing events. I don't know what Carlita is alluding to, whether it's they're doing more than one night or if they are just selfish.
About the promoters.
Yeah. And I'm guessing organizers is the better word.
Well, no, so I think it's connected to what Rashida said earlier, that some organizers just decide to do for selfish reasons. They don't care about who is local. They don't care about how they're going to affect the community or the other organizer. It's just from a selfish.
Well, it stems from, again, and everyone. Let's make this very, 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 very clear. Everyone has the right to do their own event. Everyone has that right. But as we know, how many actually do it for the community? We'll come back to that. Izzy's saying the numbers who danced Kizomba was at least 3 times or 4 times what we have now. That's true. And again, I believe it was because of the balance. You know, I think it was because of the balance. And he goes on to add, Urban maybe did something at the start, but that fair, etc., never happened. So nothing to fear about urban and urban organizers. Did at the start say that they were going to bring many new, but did not happen. I think it impacted because what it done is it changed the mindset of the Kizomberos. So basically, the organizers started to think, damn, urban, we got to make this more, I don't like using this word, authentic, bring it back to its roots, and went down a line. And this is my honest opinion, I felt that they kind of over elaborated and made it top heavy. So I disagree with it, Izzy. I think it did have a massive effect. There
I
was
think the
said quite a few things.
pandemic as well, Gary-O. I think the
Yeah,
pandemic.
no, but we're talking about before the
changed it.
pandemic. We're talking about it's not really about the numbers. It's about what impacted the change, what led to people doing more events. The pandemic, yes, affected numbers, but I think generally this started kicking off before. As you should have said, Caroline Houston, thank you for joining us, Caroline, and actually commenting. I know you listen, but don't usually comment, so we'll read it out. Hi, for me, collaboration when organizing new events would be good. Great to have choice, but when there's a lot on the same night, makes it difficult to support everyone. Cost time is an issue for me personally, as my minimum drive is 3 hours round trip. Not much going on in Kizomba wise up here in Suffolk. Support where and when I can. So yeah, essentially, it does it. I mean, Samantino alluded it to it before. It's where should I go on a Friday? Should I go to Andrews? Should I go to O'Neill's? Should I go to Temple? Where should I go? It's very difficult, guys. They're always saying that's why the industry suffers. I know a market trader and promoters don't understand the market. Dell's angle on it is looking at the market and seeing what's actually studying the market, see what's happening. Georgie has actually said she agrees with Rashida. Spread too thin makes for okay nights, basically meaning they're not the great nights of previous times. Emma's bigging up chocolate. She loves it. Izzy saying Nomad may never had a big numbers, but they did have belief and purpose of why Nomad was needed, and they stuck to their principles. Yes, they did to the very end, guys. They did. Yeah, so again, I'll come away from the messages. I want to ask Andrea, what do you need to do to make collabs work? If we can keep it a bit brief. But what do we need to do to make collabs work? Maybe they can't work, but what do you believe? What components would make it work?
I think we have to bear in mind we're talking about different types of collab. Do you mean the collab for a weekly event? Do you mean a collab for a monthly event? Do you mean a collab for a festival? There are all these.
I would say let's keep it to our weekly and monthly events.
You've got to trust the people that you're working with. You know, what would get it to work? How long is a piece of string? Because people's lives change. No matter how good somebody may go in with intentions, may go in with a shared vision, something may happen and that collab falls apart. Not for any particular, nefarious reason, just the fact that it didn't work. That's why I work solo at the moment. So because there's no one out there that shares my vision besides, like I say, the DJs that I have. I mean, you mentioned the fact that people have mentioned about nights being on the same night, but they're all offering different things. So, I'll go to a Thai restaurant or I'll go to a Chinese, depending on what my mood's like. I don't know. I don't think there is an easy answer because my vision of what collabing is will not be the same as Dixon's, will not be the same as Rashida's, will not be the same as Jerry's or yours. So depends, it depends what you're asking, because I think your question is really vague.
It's a really open question.
Vague might be
What type of
Dixon.
collaboration do you mean? For example, what type of collaboration do you mean? So then,
I just said it.
That's what I
An
mean.
event,
So there is all
a
these
weekly event, a
levels.
weekly event, or a monthly event. To you, Jerry, linking up with, for example, Elder Dance. Simple. It's a simple thing. What if we believe not all of it works? How I'm simply saying, component wise, what could make it work? What to the best of your abilities would it take to make it work? And I know we want to bring Dixon here because he's got a lot to say on this.
so I will divide it in two in my opinion and my experience. I will divide it as a supportive collaboration where there's no financial interest there, and you're supporting the community and the other clubs, which I'm doing. And the second one, I will divide it to business collaborations. But again, it's not working together, it's collaborating as a business. So you do your own thing, the other club is doing their own thing. You are collaborating together. You are doing this event together. So the money are divided. It's like a business collaboration with the same benefits, the same value. None of the businesses will be affected. None of the customers will be affected. It's joint event to benefit two different businesses, but as a business collaboration. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on, Dixon. Quickly, try and streamline this. I know you got very important points on this particular thing we're talking about, so I'm going to hand over to you quickly. Can you just give us your view on that?
So very, very shortly, like I said, I do agree with contract. If you ask me, do I do contracts all the time? Of course not. And you need to think, for example, when I explained my experience in Plymouth, right? Because I did my nights alone and my nights were being a hit, now everybody wants to work with you. Oh, now we're friends, right? So obviously, when we did the events, there's no contracts. We pre-agree everything. We set up the parameters of the event. We set up how it's going to, how the collaboration is being done. And old school way, you shake hands. Going 14 years forward, you know, I still kind of, if let's say if the risk is too high, I will make a contract. Because I can tell you now that I run events, collaboration events in different cities as we speak. Do you know what I mean? I do collaborations with different organizers because they know that they want their parties to have a party event. They want the event to be salsa, bachata, kizomba, but they want the event to be more hype. They don't want it to be quiet. So they call me into the game. They either pay me, or if the pay is too high, sometimes we can reach, again, a ground where we can agree to do, okay, what we're going to do here. Oh, it's a monthly event. We can shake on it, but everything needs to be according to what we agreed, which is what we call, let's do a collaboration. Me and you, we'd run the event together. I mean, I'll bring the expertise, you bring the people, and I'll bring you a bit more. And we try to find a common ground in what we do. Do we need a contract for this? Not necessarily, like I said. But if the risk is too high, I will suggest a contract. I will,
Okay,
because
Dixon.
it's because honestly, if I'm going to be, a lot of people want to come into this game, and it is a game, whether people wanted to accept it or not. It is a game. Do you know what I mean? And you want to enter the business game of dancing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna go and suffer what I already suffered. How many times I got conned? How many times I got fooled? Do you know what I mean? And there's no legal binding to save you. What, you're gonna go on Facebook and complain? What's that gonna give you? Do you know what I mean? There's so many things involved here, but simply, I'm just saying, this collaboration thing, it can go from a high scale to a very small scale. It depends as well. Like Andrea's saying, you find people that you can trust, because that's the biggest thing here. Where most people who organize nights, they don't trust each other. You have so many people that used to organize a night together for so many years. I'm not going to say names, and then suddenly they're doing the same night in different venues.
All the same
venue. Because they didn't agree with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Now, I just wanted to say quickly one thing before you change the topic. What you were talking about, back in the day, what Nomad was, what SIBOs was. what Leytonstone, O'Neill's. Bro, even in Plymouth, I used to go to all of that. Every time I was in transition to take a flight to go somewhere and I had to fly, I used to go to all these nights. It was very different and distinct, and I liked it. But then suddenly, this venue start to complain, like saying Kizomba is dying. No, Kizomba was not dying. And for me, in my perspective, is nothing to do with Urban Kids. Urban Kids is just a problem. Sorry to say,
Problem. Excuse me.
it's just a problem based on ignorance that somebody allowed to happen. It is what it is. But the reason why those nights fell, the Honorable Nomad, Honorable Nuna, all these big nights that I used to hear about, oh my God, I wish I could go, just to check. The truth is, there's other promoters, there's other organizers in the Kizomba world that organize themselves in creating a better product, a more organized product, a more diverse musical product. Do you understand? And these people that are still today in business, what do? They gathered a team of teachers, they gathered a team of DJs, and they create a sort of collaboration. Obviously, they're on top, organizing everything, doing the promotion, and you just go there, work for them, and you pay them. You have people like Richard Voigt doing it. You have Sonny Varela doing it. It's a collaboration. Do they work together? Hell no. It is what it is. But the reason is, when you're doing the business, dance business, the world will shift. And you have to shift with the world. Who can you collab now? Imagine, Gary, you're just in the Kizomba business or what? You said 6 years?
Since 2005.
No, in Kizomba.
Yes.
Since 2005.
When you was wearing short pants, Dixon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Bulgaria, then came to UK 2011. So
Bro, 2005, I was in Portugal in my uni days, enjoying live music, Kizomba live music and DJs. Cultura the way it should be, I'm not even gonna fight that.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. We have to, guys, our loyal supporters and listeners, and what we need to kind of go through these messages. Izzy says he never did contracts. Izzy, of course, we know he's a nice guy. Del, I worked with certain promoter who we ran 2 floor event and it worked well, and venue was easily affordable. Again, it just depends on things like the venue. Clarissa saying love it. Sylvester and Tweety Pie. I don't know what's going on there, but
Super Dixon. I thought I
don't know. Emma Guest is getting a bit cheeky on there. Is he saying it is a business when you involve money, but you don't need a contract? But it's it's personal opinions. Yeah, again, guys, Andrew doesn't like it, doesn't think it's needed. Someone else might. So Izzy again, I think COVID did the most damage. Pre-COVID, the numbers was boom. Yeah, the numbers were more, but I still think the break started in, let's say, 2016. I'm not being funny. That's when it all started to go pear-shaped. Emma, we've got a nice comment here. Can I just say, without opening a whole can of whoop-ass, I dip in and out of all the genres. The urban crowd are different. They are a lot younger, and I think they're drawn to more modern style of music. Should I say their loss? I know, but it's just my opinion. Yes, and you got a younger crowd. Maybe we can say a more attractive. What does Andrew say? People dance with their eyes. Potentially opinions might say we got a younger crowd.
Gario. Thank you very much.
I'm not dragging you into it. I'm simply using one of your sayings.
You mentioned my name, so
because I'm using one of your sayings, Andrea. They dance with their eyes. It's what you say.
I do think that's true.
So yeah, thank you. So College is saying everyone needs to know that money is involved, and there are a lot of tight promoters out there. So collabs need really to be communicated properly. Yeah, I think.
I wonder if I could jump in there, Gary.
Yeah, of course, please do.
Yeah. So there's actually one recent collaboration that I think worked really, really well, and that's because I suppose there's not I'm not speaking for necessarily the SPK crowd or the urban crowd, but because there was a collaboration with a lot of Palop DJs that happened on a boat recently, and that collaboration was a beautiful collaboration as a customer because of what I've talked about and what Andrew talked about, and even and Jerry talked about. There was a shared understanding about what the mandate was for that night, and every DJ that would have been potentially DJing somewhere else in another London club or anywhere else or whatever it is, privileged that night that nothing else could exist apart from that party. Yeah, and it was a beautiful night, and they did that collaboration really, really well, and it was nothing but love on that night. And I think that's when
Because they did it a Palop night.
it was a Palop night. It was a Palop night, and
Not only Angola, not only Cabo Verde, Palop night, and it was a banger.
You came down from the ends of the earth wherever you live, and you know there was a lot of people came from near and far to come down to, because actually everybody's favorite DJ was in the same place. Everybody, whether you got any kind of divisiveness, but every single person's favorite DJ, whether you know they weren't playing for Richard Voigt or Izzy or Shay that night, they were there doing their thing together, and it worked really nice, so really well. I just wanted to add that before we come to a closing about, because I think it's been quite negative, and even me, I own that I was quite negative as well. But yes, collaborations can work. I have no ideas about what the financial agreement was, but as a customer, it worked well because there was no other choice
night
at that party.
What I think what we got there, Rashida, and I think it works. I'm going to do two things very quickly. I think if you are kind of, let's say, have some kind of friendship, although that can cause a drama, if you understand, and I think also something which is very important, if people know their role in the agreement, if people know their role. So whether it be, I'll say to Dixon, look, you know you're the man, you can hype it up, you'll just do crazy stuff. I'll look after this part of it. You know, someone else will talk, you know, Izzy will go around and talk to everyone. I'll do this part of organizing this, and someone else will do that. All of a sudden, everyone works in sync because they know their roles. They like what roles they're doing. So there's going to be no problem. It's when people are fighting to do the same thing, I believe the issue gets brought up. You know, and we know about recent collaborations that lasted forever, and all of a sudden they're not there. And why? Because different visions, yes, but
because everything
also
has its time, Gary. Because
everything has its time. Every dog has its day, as we say in Jamaica. Every dog has its day. Yeah. So I just think that you know, we just need to be mindful of that. Again, you know, we're close to closing, but I would like to bring in one more thing. With the collaboration, Andrea, how many people do you believe should be involved in the collab? So do you reckon it should be 2, 4, 5? I mean, you know, partners. Del always talks about partners. So would you say me and 2 other partners, me and just one? Do you think it works better with 2 or 3? Or
It depends what works for you, Gary O. It depends what your ego's like. It depends how humble you are. You know, you work with what you're comfortable with. No, I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm talking about anybody. You
yeah,
decide how many heads your dragon has. You make your choices. You know, I have three. There are 3 of us. If we bring other people in, is it Hydra? I can't remember.
Hydra, it is. I was going to say that. I had it right here.
You
Chop one head, 2 more.
The problem, it depends what your managerial skills are like. If you're going to be at the top and then you're going to delegate down, it depends. I've seen, you know, I used to work at an event that had so many staff, it was ridiculous, and it didn't work eventually. But if you're collaborating, that's different to running a weekly event where like I'm working, you know, doing my monthly event with my 2 DJs. If we choose to collaborate with somebody for a one-off event, that's a completely different thing. So if say, I don't know, Santa May Day of Independence. I want to start, bringing people I know who are from Santa May. Do you want to do something at my event? Can we collaborate and make this into some different type of party thing? That's different to running a weekly event. If I'm running a festival, I then have to, and I'm going to collaborate with each room that there's going to be. So there might be a salsa room, there might be chatter, whatever. And then obviously the teachers. How many? I then have to look at what are my skills, what am I able to manage. So say I'm not, but if I was a financial wizard, I might want to take care of all the financial stuff. And there may be somebody that I know I can collaborate. He might not even be part of the dance scene, who's a wizard doing something else. I collaborate with a guy in Angola over my flyers. So things like that. I think this is a really weird question because each event that you run is so different, and who you're collaborating with is going to be different, and how many people you have will be different, depending on what event you want to run, whether it's a monthly event or a one-off festival. A one-off festival, I would never bother organising. That's not my type of thing. I don't like them. They're too big. I've never enjoyed a festival I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot. So my thing is just running my event and going to the events that I like. If I'm going to collaborate with somebody, I will work with them for a long time first before taking that final step. But that could be 2 people, that could be 5 people. Depends what
Okay,
their
you
skills
seem to
are.
find it weird. You seem to find it weird question.
No,
suppose what I'm
I think you have an agenda, Gary-O. I really do. I think you have
No,
a hidden
I'm just
agenda. You're
saying.
not letting it. No,
Okay,
I think you have a hidden agenda, and that's been
no,
shown
I'm
over the last
saying
week.
no. I'll
I
rearrange the
have the
question.
receipts.
I'll rearrange the question, Andrea. If you want to bring personal things to the show, arrange a question. Do too many people, too many cooks spoil the broth? Is what I was getting at, I guess. Rather than
Not enough.
if you had 7, 5
If they all
people.
skills that you needed for your event. If
Okay.
those people had valued skills to bring to an event and weren't going to be dead wood, absolutely have them on board. But if you've got one who's just coasting along for the ride for the fame and the glory, no, I don't need 7. I'll have 6 instead, thanks.
And something Dell used to do, of course, Dell's been commenting. He used to have 5 partners that each put in $2,000, for example. So that's why I kind of asked, because does that work? I don't know. G, I know you were talking about, working with Elter Dance, but I guess this is slightly different, as in you are promoting them, they're promoting you, rather than actually putting money in to do a joint event. Is that correct?
So for me, for the whole show, I've been talking about collaborations only, and I will continue talking about that. No business. I would collaborate with 2 or 3 maximum as per the vision event or whatever we organize or whatever we join together. Because especially if it's my initiation, I would like to give respect and time for both of the teachers or host or DJs or whoever I'm collaborating with, to make them feel comfortable, to show their best, to be themselves, to bring community, to bring crowd, their community and friends and crowd to be happy. So I would like to give them full attention, fully whatever they deserve when I'm collaborating with them. So 2 or 3 max. So then I can be 100% with everybody and everybody are happy.
Rashida.
Yeah, you mentioned Love to Dance a while back, and I think 3 is the magic number for me. But I guess the way that our structure was and why it worked for the 4 years, 4 and a bit years that it was successful for, before I just got tired, good to be honest with you. Promoting is not easy. Was we all had our, like you said, very clear roles, and any our collaboration, or no, collaboration is the wrong word for that type of situation. It was a partnership, but we each had our own collaboration. So I might have a relationship with a DJ or a teacher or whatever it is, and I would collaborate on my team as part of those the three of us to go off and negotiate whatever I needed to do, and so did the other partners in that game. But we were ultimately responsible for that collaboration. Does that make sense? So if whatever person I decided to bring on board decided not to turn up, it was down to me. I was responsible, and I held myself accountable for that. And so 3 is the magic number. It felt like we all had skin in the game. We took the risks together, we took the losses together. Yeah. So I think when you're having, I guess I think Jerry's very, very clear and very articulate about the separation between, partnership and collaboration. But if we are using it interchangeably, there needs to be some equal skin in the game. I need to know that you're losing if I'm losing, and we're winning if I'm winning. And I think that that's when collaboration or partnerships work best, when there's shared risk, shared success. And I just wanted to comment on Lee's that I think is that comment there actually. But actually the person the night that had all the DJs in the one place, they then collaborated with the person who usually has a night on that night to have the after party at their night. So there's another good example about collaboration. So it wasn't that they were taking away from anybody. They were actually adding additionality. Okay, I'm getting old, so I didn't go, but I was tired. But most people went off to the after party. Whoever had the energy to go, they collaborated. It was advertised alongside their night, and that's I think that is a really good example of collaboration and partnership working.
And Rashida, can you confirm, was it a Saturday night?
It was.
So I believe there was still one event going on. So I think we might have to allude to that. There was actually still one event going on, a long-standing event. So I guess
I think it was Richard's event, and then the after party was at Richard's event.
Richard's event?
Because
on a Saturday?
Richard,
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? No, okay.
You know why? Because
Okay.
Richard contact the people from the boat party. Let's do a collabo. Come to my event. Let's join forces in here.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong boat event. I was more thinking of the one where had Nuno at the after party.
Oh, okay. No. I wasn't thinking of
that.
That
was
one.
a different one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just want to say regarding the collaborations and everybody, obviously, in the chats, in YouTube and on Facebook, they've been amazing, dropping their part of their perspectives. But one of the things I just want to say, that for me, when it comes to, again, from a Palop culture, do you know what I mean? When people think that when we grew up in Portugal, there was always different parties. There's always different events in different cities, or in Lisbon even. Let's go. There's different parties. My experience is not so much in Lisbon, but I know in Lisbon that happened. Do you know what I mean? But obviously my experience was in the Algarve when I was in uni, and we knew that there was different parties going on the same night and whatnot. Do you think that we complained? We didn't complain. Do you know what we did? And this is something I keep saying, and I was dying to say here in the show. We do not complain. We go to all the parties. Vamos a todas. Okay, the festa. Onde? Where's the party? Where? Okay, let's go to this one first, and then let's go to the other one. And if the second one was not so good, let's go back to the first one.
Yes, I have the same experience.
But in England, you can only go to one club. I can only be loyal to one club. Oh dear. Oh dear.
I think that's
another problem.
I think that's maybe a financial problem.
2 hours to get to London, so I can't be driving all around London as well.
People like Gary, Andrea travel so far.
Gary, I'll tell you now one thing. Since I've been in London more often, and I've been staying here more often in London, I learned also one thing. If there's an event in North London, 1 hour. I mean, I was in Plymouth traveling everywhere, 5, 6 hours, 8 hours. Oh my God, I don't know. You know, I done that for a decade. Since I've been in London more often and becoming more resident and working in London and whatnot, I can tell you one thing. I'm in South London. If something is happening in North London, an hour away or an hour and a half away, my friend, goodbye. If there's an event in South London, that's where I'm going to go. That's simple. And you know what? This Saturday, there was an event in Diversão in Brixton. And there was an event from Vicio. You know, my guy Saeed, shout out. It was his birthday. And he had an event in Elephant and Castle. I went to both events. Everybody calls me crazy. I mean, I did. And it's the best way to support.
Awesome.
You know, different flavors, different vibes, there you go. And I just
Guys.
want to also say that Saeed, for example, he opened a safe spot, let's say. It is giving it to every promoter in Kizomba to do the nights there. Nobody's taking it.
I wonder why.
It is what it is. Business is business.
Andrea, one more question. Sorry, one more comment. I think if you want and you are comfortable with it, just do it. I guess my position, if I am happy to support, but you have to just come out. Yeah. So Izzy's just saying he's come out of a 12-year collaboration. It's difficult, guys. It's difficult. And, you know,
it's a partnership.
Yeah. So it's yes, and I think there might have to be another show, Jerry. I think you're right, because we have to break it down. Partnerships, collaboration, you know, it's quite a deep, you know, many skins to peel off there. And look, he's saying I'll only do it again with the people who I want to do it with. So there you go. Guys, it's been emotional and it's time to close down. It got a bit heated. That's what we want. The comments were good. Lots of different opinions, and that's what it's about. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Jerry, I think we would love to have you back. You were very insightful, very knowledgeable, very experienced. Rashida, as always, wonderfully put comments and insights. Andrea, our host, very good. She tells us about how things are, tells us straight. That's how we like it. Super Dixon, hyping everything up. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. And Dixon, your contract will be in the email for the show. Make sure you stick to
Wait
all
for
the
mine.
rules. Okay.
I will help you with the terms and conditions. Don't worry.
Okay, guys.
I worked
Look.
in insurance. I'm all about terms and conditions.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. Izzy's saying, Dixon, you forgot to go to Danilo's event. So I think he's given a dig at you there.
I'm already in conversations to work with Danilo. That's my Mozambican brother, man. Us Mozambicans, we stick together too, you know?
Okay, guys, we really need to call an end to the show. It's been really good.
Thank you so
Thanking
much.
you all, visitors, people from abroad listening and viewing.
All
And
the
thank you
listeners.
to our special guests and, of course, our hosts. And all we can say is keep dancing and see you on the other side. See you next time.
Absolutely.
Andrea,
See you
over
then.
to you for a lovely song. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks
everyone.
everybody for tonight. Thank you for your comments. Thank you to the panel for coming, giving up their evening to chat with us. There was a lot left unsaid, but you know, it's always next month, next
Part two?
fortnight. Well, I don't know. How near is it to Christmas?
I don't know. We might be having a Christmas holiday. Let's look at it. Could be.
Yeah,
You could be right, Andrea.
Yeah. Yeah. All right then. Good night, everybody. One of my favourite singers.